What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with another college football preseason rankings as I'm ranking all the teams from 133 to 1. And in this video, it's going to be teams ranked 100 to 51. So let's get into it here with Toledo being at 91, and then we have Miami of Ohio at 100. And you can see we also have two other MAC teams here, Eastern Michigan and Ohio. And we'll talk about the MAC here. They is a decent conference outside the Power Five. It's really up for grabs this year. I think Toledo, Ohio, and Eastern are your favorites, and then after that, it's a crapshoot. But the MAC has earned respect for their names. Getting some action in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday games now that they play during the weekday, and it's good for college football as well. So a lot of people can watch football throughout the week. But FAU is a team to watch out for. After their falling of Lane Kiffin last year, they fell back down to earth. App State, obviously they're still known for the Michigan upset, but last year they put a solid season together, beating UNC, Southern Miss, Georgia Southern, Navy, Army. Those teams kind of just middle of the pack. We'll see if Navy can turn it around after bringing in a new coach this year as well. And then 90 through 81, where things get interesting, where we have Liberty, Marshall, Coastal Carolina, Middle Tennessee, are teams that had some decent years last year, getting at least 8 wins and looking to repeat success this year. We have North Texas, Wyoming, even UAB and SMU, teams that fared well, but would like to get at least another win or two this year. And then the first Big Ten team you are seeing is Northwestern, and last year had an awful year. The whole Pat Fitzgerald situation that's going on now is a big question mark and a great cloud over their heads. And with only like 24 days till the season kicks off, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding that program. And then the last team at 87 is Utah State. They just haven't looked the same since Jordan Love has been there in the last 4 years, but they look to turn things around this year and win a bowl game. 80 through 71 is where you're going to find some ACC teams with Virginia Tech, Boston College, and Georgia Tech. They had some bad years last year, but those teams are, looking to turn around, as, it might not happen just because the ACC is a little better than it was last year, but there is always an outlier of a team. And if you want to talk about an outlier, I think you got to look at South Alabama and James Madison. These two teams had some decent years last year, really coming in and just asserting their dominance in league play. And you want to talk about asserting dominance, this is exactly what Stanford and Indiana didn't do. They had some rough years last year. Indiana had higher hopes, Stanford as well. Even I think 6-6 was the goal, and they completely missed that. But maybe this year is different. 70 through 61, and at 70, yes, I have Colorado, maybe a little lower than a lot of people have them, but I just think you can't just expect so much from Dion just to start. Week 1 against TCU, tough task, but I do think they are going to be a good team this year. They did go 1-11, but Dion knows how to win, and I 100% get behind with what he's preaching to that team. Virginia at 69, I think they come into the ACC looking to prove, last year was a fluke year and get back to their winning ways. UTSA had a great year, 11-3 last year, looking to build off that success. And then you have all these teams from 67 to 61 that are hoping to, just get back to a bowl game. Houston especially had a good year, but Vanderbilt, West Virginia, Rutgers, Nebraska even struggled last year at times, and we'll see if they can turn the page on last year going into this year. And the last 10 teams that you're going to see before the top 50 is revealed is Western Kentucky at 60, all the way to Tulane at 51. And you want to talk about a team that has jumped up tremendously, it's those Candace Jayhawks. Last year, no one expected them to win, I think, 2 games, and here, what did they start? 5-0, and then kind of hit rock bottom for a little bit, but they did make a bowl game, lost, but they did make the bowl game. That's a huge step forward for that program. Air Force and Troy are 2 teams that came out of nowhere last year, put up some solid, wins, and they even got to 10 wins apiece. As Troy especially got 12. Syracuse at 56. They're looking to get back to another bowl game as well. And then Fresno State and Boise State had excellent years too, going both 10-4 in the Mountain West, and yet again, it'll more than likely be between those teams battling it out for a conference championship. BYU, Iowa State, I think BYU can get a little better than they did last year, even at 8-5. Played a tough game against Oregon and lost that one. And then Iowa State, the whole gambling probe that's going on now, as they look to, hopefully move past that sooner rather than later. And then, as I said, Tulane at 51, their remarkable year playing against USC in a New Year's Six Bowl. Really, no one had any expectations for that team and just put it all together going 12-2 as we round out the the 100 through 51. That's going to be it for this week's video. Make sure you guys come back in a week or two to see the top 50 through 26 before I break down the top 25. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.